Stand up, Giants fans. Stand right up, Giants fans. That's how much energy they've given me to do the intro after week one, Bad Dog. They don't earn a yell for. I didn't get to say stand up once the entire game. They didn't score a touchdown. So hopefully it gets a lot better this week against the Dallas Cowboys, a team that we haven't beaten since when Dak was at quarterback, since Dak's rookie year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hope that it's much better. It can't be any worse. But hey, welcome back to Chris and the Bad Dog. It has been a while since we've done a show, and we plan on being here all year for you guys and gals. Hopefully it gets better because, like Chris just said, I don't know that it could get worse, as you saw, and especially when you took a look at the game last night. You saw Green Bay absolutely dominate. It was amazing to watch a team not play soft zone, to attack Jaden Daniels with a lot of blitzing. Kept him pretty much in the pocket, didn't really do anything until the game was out of reach. And, they got inside the 5, Chris, and I saw them run the ball with Josh Jacobs, and they threw a quick slant to their best receiver. And yeah, it's amazing when you see a team with good coaching, what it can do. I didn't think the Commanders, I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're a great team. And that's why I thought we could beat them week one. But I mean, what the hell is the deal with the coaching staff, bro? And you saw they picked up this guy, Gibson, from the Jets. Mm-hmm. Explain to me why we're picking him up when Smith Marsette's on our practice squad. Like, what is this organization doing, man?
Yeah, I mean, I was it's a minor thing, I guess, in the reality of things when you're complaining about a kick returner in the 53-man roster. But on our Giants Collective channel on Twitter, that was a move I strongly disagreed with, not rostering him on the 53-man roster. And then when they elected to go with Gunner, I said, okay, well, whatever. I guess they feel like Gunner's a better wide receiver. But then come to find week one, they got Gunner returning punts, but not returning kicks. And they got Wan'Dale Robinson returning kicks. And then I say to myself, well, what are we doing? you got your second most important wide receiver returning kicks after you had a really good kick returner last year. I think one of the best in the league for the last 7 or 8 games or whatever it was. He returned a touchdown against the Colts. We remember that game. So I was excited to see him. So yeah, a little weird, some of the roster maneuvering, but that's nothing new with Brian Daboll and the New York Giants. We've pointed out several times the Adoree Jackson, situation. That was his first year when he actually did a really good job coaching this team, but there's been several other questionable decisions, Bad Dog, as we head into week 2. And before we get started, though, we always like to say hello to our regulars, our diehards. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. I saw Trisha said hello to me 19,000 times. So hello to you, Trisha. Tony, what's going on? Flickers, what's going on? Rodney, what's going on? Larry J, what's going on? Watch me squatch. Thank you so much for being in the chat, man. And yeah, Bad Dog, I don't know where to go from here. At the end of the day, I'm down in the dumps with this team, and I hope I feel a lot better after this week. But I think we've become accustomed to really poor football to start the year. I was hoping, as we talked about, before the season started, that this team was going to look a lot more prepared coming out of preseason. They played the starters a lot more, and they came out just as flat as they have the last 2 years. They lost 21-6, but that game might as well have been 40-6, and they failed to score a touchdown. They got in the red zone twice inside the 3-yard line. I think it was twice. They end up with 3 points out of those 2 trips. So things got to get a lot better on both sides of the ball. Offensive play calling, defensive play calling. It was a complete disaster week 1. And normally I would look at this Cowboys team, Bad Dog, and I would say, all right, they trade Micah Parsons. Maybe they're vulnerable. But the way that the Giants looked this past week, and then like you just said, the way that the Commanders look, the only team we've played thus far this year, when they go up against the Packers last night, the Packers are a really good team. Yeah. I was a year early on Jordan Love. I thought last year was going to be Jordan Love's breakout year. He actually was somewhat underwhelming. He looks really good so far to start this year, and the Packers might be the favorite out of the NFC. If them or the Eagles, I think, at this point, the way that they've looked early on. But even though that game ended up being relatively close, Commanders got demolished early on in that first half. So that's discouraging, too, to see that they go out and lay an egg after they beat the crap out of us week 1. So I think it's going to be tough sledding, especially with no Andrew Thomas. I mean, again, and I don't want to rag on the guy. He's trying to recover from an injury. But without him, Bad Dog, I mean, the facts speak for themselves. The Giants' offensive line is a disaster when he's not in the lineup.
It's like you mentioned a number of times. It's a disaster when he is in the lineup.
Yeah,
it's unplayable when he's out of the lineup. And yeah, I'm on Twitter, and I say that I'm just ready to give up on him. And I got this guy in there saying, "Oh, it takes a year to come back from the Liz Frank injury." But I'm like, that's not my point. My point is he's unavailable. I don't care what the injury is. He missed 8 weeks with a hamstring. If it's not a hamstring, it's his fractured ankle. If it's not Liz Frank, it's his groin. If it's his shoulder, it's always something. He doesn't play. I have no faith that even when he comes back from this injury, on his foot, that he's going to play the rest of the year. He could come back week 4, and there's no way he's going from week 4 all the way out. I have no faith. I feel like he's going to be there for a game or two, and then something else will happen to him. And it sucks because I swear to God, our best, but the Giants have not drafted well. Let's be honest. We've been drafting like shit. This is why we win 4 games, 5 games a year. And when we finally do hit on pieces, they get hurt or they go somewhere else. And it's just incredible. Barkley was here, and he obviously is a great talent. He played 2 full seasons with us in 6 years? 2, right? Two full seasons. His rookie year, and then the year we went to the postseason. Hurt every other year. Some of them were freak injuries. He tore his ACL. That was bad. A guy rolled up on his ankle after a play. He missed 4 weeks. Daniel Jones' first game, he had an ankle sprain. He missed the next 3 weeks. Like he always had something happen. He goes to Philadelphia, nothing happens. Xavier McKinney dealt with injuries here, had the ATV accident. He goes to Green Bay, leads the league in interceptions. It's just crazy. And it's amazing. I've seen comments saying, Daniel Jones goes to Indianapolis. He looks like Peyton Manning. Russell Wilson comes here. Looks like Daniel Jones. It's just funny how whatever is going on with the Giants, and it's not just Dable and Shane and Bowen and Kafka, because this has been a pattern since Ben McAdoo, since the end of Tom Coughlin, really. They just haven't been a good team, and there's just something bad. Their player development, whatever it is, John Mara just doesn't know how to pick the right minds. And Shane Bowen's a disaster, man. He's terrible. I don't know how you have Abdul Carter and you play him half the snaps. You drafted that guy 3rd overall. And people are like, oh, he's not good against the run. He's not good. I don't care.
Yeah. We're
not good against the run as a unit anyway. The dude is picked 3rd overall. He should be getting more snaps than anybody. He's your future.
Yeah.
Why is Darius Alexander inactive? He's got to develop. Well, can we get him some snaps? Is he really going to be worse than Robertson? Is he going to be worse than Nacho? Is he worse? We gave up 220 yards on the ground. How can
I was stunned at the utilization of Abdul Carter. Now, we kind of saw a little bit of a hint of that in the preseason because he wasn't, you don't want to read too much into the preseason, but he wasn't getting first team reps when they were playing the first team for the most part. Kayvon and Burns were getting more of the reps when they were playing the first team than he was. So I guess maybe they're going to slowly integrate him in, but I was surprised, man. You think back Micah Parsons' first game, I remember he made an immediate impact, and he was out there almost every snap. At least, I don't have the snap count in front of me, but it felt like it at least his first game with the Dallas Cowboys. So I was surprised that the Giants didn't use him more than they did, and he's certainly a guy that this week the Giants have to have out there a lot more than they did this previous week, especially with the injury to McFadden, being that he's a little versatile. You can move him around. They need him out there on the field a lot more than they did week 1. Not that the defense was the primary reason we lost that game. The defense wasn't good. Couldn't get off the field in 2nd and long. But the offense was the main culprit. And special teams. The Scottish toothpick, as we've called him last week, he was god-awful too. It was all 3 phases for the Giants were awful. And hopefully, I like to say there's no way you could go but up. But I've said that before, and this team finds new lows. So we'll see. We'll see if they could surprise me and they're competitive this week.
It's just such a disappointment. Again, you're right. You said it on Giants Collective. Don't even watch preseason.
Yeah.
It might hurt our views, but they totally screwed me. They made me believe, like a lot of times they were really shitty in the preseason for many years. Yeah. Really bad. And you would just say, it's just preseason. Don't worry about it. It's just preseason. But you could tell they weren't a good team. This team looked like it was prepared anyway. Looked like they had the timing down. They worked on screen passes. Every quarterback was throwing the ball deep down the field. They were having really good energy. And then it's like when it counted, all of a sudden they kind of reverted back to the way they played preseason the last few years. Just incredibly vanilla, outside of a terrible idea by Kafka to throw to Marcus Bowe when Scadaboo is – why did you draft Scadaboo if you're not going to use him in that situation? Scadaboo runs a 4.7. He ain't running away from anybody. He's not an explosive back. That dude is your sledgehammer. That dude is your plow. He's the guy that weakens the defense. He's the guy that can get the yard by just pushing forward. He's the guy that gets yards after contact. Why is he not your go-to guy? Like I said, line up in the eye and run him 4 straight times at the goal line.
And yeah, I mean, Baddog, at the end of the day, we can't operate like the Kansas City Chiefs. We can't run an offense like the Kansas City Chiefs. Our offensive line is trash. You're missing Andrew Thomas, your best blocker. And at the 1 yard line, you're calling a passing play on 1st and goal. No. At the end of the day, if you run the ball 4 times there, you don't get cute. And if you can't score, you don't deserve to score. Period. End of story at that point. Yeah, that play call was awful. The play calling in that game was awful, especially once we got inside the 10-yard line. Both trips, it was awful. Disgusting.
And again, they didn't even – I don't think they targeted Malik Neighbors once down there. I mean, I don't know what the hell they were doing. I really don't. I just don't understand it, Chris. This is what's so frustrating is – I'm not an NFL head coach. I don't claim to be. I don't watch all 22. I don't claim to. I'm not an analyst. I don't break down film. I'm not going to do that. Okay? Some people can do it. Bobby Skinner is great at it. I'll listen to Bobby. I think Bobby knows what the hell he's talking about. Most people that do that, though, don't have an idea. They never played at the level Bobby Skinner did. They don't understand the intricacies of play. You're not in the huddle. You don't know what the call is. You don't know what the audible is. You don't know what the first read is. You don't know anything. You're just looking at film. And unless you are like part of you've been in the NFL before and you understand these routes and these calls and what all this stuff is and where the ball's supposed to go, it's easy to look and go, the ball should be out there. I think any of us could do that. You know, if you're not throwing the ball before the guy's out of the break, you're throwing it too late. But we don't know where the ball is supposed to go. We don't know what the play call is. We don't know if there was an order. You don't know anything. So I don't claim to know any of this shit, but I do know damn well that when you have a guy like Cam Scatterbo, why are you throwing to your backup tackle? I don't get it. Why are you trying to fool them? Just that's what weaker team. When you don't think you can just line up and beat somebody, and I think that's an indication of how little confidence they have in this old line, Chris, is if you're confident, you're just lining up and running it. When you're trying to trick these guys in the goal line with a play like that, that tells me that you don't believe that offensive line is good enough to get you a fucking yard.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's a tale as old as time. Since we've been doing this show, since I've been on YouTube, that's all I've talked about because that's always the primary problem with this team, and it was the primary problem long before we started doing the show with this Giants team. You know, not that I'm making excuses. We know that we needed a new quarterback, but at the end of the day, you look like, and it's 1 week with Daniel Jones, but look at Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, when he was with the New York Giants, what we all knew was a great talent, or at least most of us did. We all knew he was an incredible talent, but he wasn't able to shine. He leaves the Giants. He gets put on an organization that can block, and he's the #1 ranked player in the entire NFL because he's able to utilize his ability. The Giants haven't been able to do that, and the offensive line inexplicably looks worse, I feel, than it did when Joe Shane initially took the job. Like, yep. I'm a guy that preaches patience, okay? I wanted Joe Shane to get another year. I wanted them to get to draft their quarterback with Brian Dable, and it's 1 week. I'm not closing the door. We haven't even seen Jackson Dart yet, okay? Right. Got to see Jackson Dart before I really come to a conclusion on what they need to do with the head coach, with the GM, and we'll see how this team responds week 2. So I'm not trying to, close the door on anybody right now. But you look at this offensive line, Baddog. Who on this offensive line do you say, oh, yeah, that's a long-term answer that Joe Shane has brought in at this point in time? Nobody. He didn't bring in Andrew Thomas. Dave Gettleman did, and he, like we've talked about, he hasn't been able to stay on the field. Marcus Bowe, yeah, we're excited about him. He showed good things in the preseason, but as you said, what does the preseason really mean after what we saw week 1, in the regular season? And remember, we all got excited about Matt Parrott. Don't forget about that. He was a 3rd-round tackle that we all thought could be a long-term answer.
Shane Lemieux. Don't forget about Shane Lemieux.
So, let's see it before we start to believe it. So, that's the most important part of a football team as far as I'm concerned in terms of a unit. We all know the quarterback's the most important position, and the Giants have no hope, I feel, on that offensive line at this point in time long-term. And when Andrew Thomas is out there, they'll look better. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say, oh, well, Andrew Thomas isn't going to help the interior. Bullshit, he's not. Andrew Thomas will definitely help the interior if he's a healthy Andrew Thomas. Now, we can't forget, Baddog, it's going to take weeks for Andrew Thomas to get back into form, even when he starts to play.
He hasn't played in a year.
Yeah, I don't expect 90 PFF grade Andrew Thomas the day he steps on the field, whenever that is, whether that's week 4, week 5, whatever it may be. But when you have a lockdown left tackle, yeah, that's going to make the rest of your line look better because you could utilize when we've got Hudson out there, you can't leave him on an island. He needs
Right, you
help.
got a double, right? Exactly.
So it's like when there's a lot of holes in the boat. You know, when Andrew Thomas is out there and he's healthy, it's one less hole, so you can divert your attention to other weaknesses on that offensive line. So when Andrew Thomas is back, I do think the offensive line will look better. It still won't be good, but it'll look better. But they still got a ways to go on this line, and until this line is good, none of it matters at the end of the day. None of it matters as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying it's got to be the best offensive line in the league, Bad Dog, but until it's a respectable line that you feel like you could orchestrate an offense functionally, the Giants aren't going to be winning a lot of games. It's a tale as old as time, and it's not going to improve until it gets better.
Exactly. If you don't, like I said, until you feel that you can line up at the 1 yard line and run the ball 4 straight times if you have to get a yard, to get a touchdown, good enough.
Yeah.
It just needs to be good enough. That's how bad this line has been. Like you said, since we've been doing the show, middle of 2018, right? All we ever preached was if the offensive line is just average, this team could be decent. And it's not even close. It's not below average. It's abysmal. I like that word. Abysmal and abhorrent are two of my favorite words to describe the Giants. They are the dregs of the NFL. It's almost like they go out and go, let's see if we can find like the worst guys to fit on this offensive line and see how bad they can really be. Let's see if we can bring in the worst guy. It doesn't matter who they bring in. Everybody that comes here sucks. You don't remember Nate Solder? Like Dave Gettleman brought him in. That was the best guy available. And it's not like he was bad with the Patriots. He got here, he sucked. It's like everybody that we sign sucks.
Will Hernandez.
It doesn't make sense.
Ben Bredesen got better after he left.
Will Hernandez got better after he left.
Eitler got better after he left.
Flowers.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. It's a disaster.
It just doesn't. I'm completely baffled that you could have this many coaches, this many coordinators, this many GMs, and that is still an issue. I just don't understand. Again, I'm not in their position. I don't scout talent. It's not my job. And I always love when people like, oh, let's see you, coach. Let's see you do a better job. That's not my job.
Yeah.
And comparing a YouTube guy that works for the state of New York to an NFL head coach and telling me that he's better than I am, well, that's not the flex you think it is. It's like when they say, let's see you. You think you can do better than Daniel Jones? No, that's why I'm sitting here. But I'm not supposed to be the quarterback of the Giants.
Yeah.
But if somebody can do my job better than I do at the state, or I didn't do my job and I failed at it, I wouldn't be there. They go, this guy's inept. This guy's not doing. This guy constantly makes mistakes, the same mistakes. He's costing us money. He's doing this. He's doing that. We got to move on. So, again, I always find that funny. Let's do a better job. Well, if I could, I'd be in that position, right? I can't. But, again, comparing Brian Daboll to me is not saying, well, Brian Daboll's a good coach because he's better than you, Bad Dog. I mean, that's not saying much. You know what I mean? So, it's just it's crazy. So, I don't know, man. I'm like you. I went in with such high optimism this year. And that first game was really just a kick in the nuts. And
I mean, it felt like the 40-0 game against the Cowboys. It felt like the 28-6 game against the Vikings. And when it happens 3 years in a row, you're like, I mean, what are we doing? How good of a coach is this guy really? He has all offseason to have this team prepared. You know, that's it. I think week one, you say, okay, he's had all offseason to game prep for this game. And the product that we saw, no Andrew Thomas or not, it doesn't matter. That speaks to how bad the coaching staff is, that the offensive line and the draft evaluation by Joe Shane, that the offensive line looks as piss poor as it does when you're missing Andrew Thomas. You look around the league, there's other teams that are at least functional when they're missing an offensive lineman. The Giants are just they literally are one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL history over the last couple of years when Andrew Thomas is not in the lineup.
Easily.
You think back to the year 2 years ago when they gave up like 86 sacks or whatever it was, when Andrew Thomas missed like half the year. It's night and day when he's not in line. They're a really bad offensive line when he's in there, but they're like bottom 10 in the league when he's not in there. They're by far the worst in the league over the last 3 or 4 years. It's been disgraceful, awful.
Just shows you have so little depth on that offensive line and so little talent. And again, Joe Shane's draft picks have not really panned out. Now, Malik Neighbors looks really good, but Micah McFadden got hurt, unfortunately. He was a good draft pick, but John Michael Schmitz has been – every guy he's drafted, we don't know about Bo yet, but every one of his draft picks have been ass. McKeithen, Azudu, John Michael Schmitz. They're terrible. I mean, they're not even NFL caliber players. You know, I mean, you know this, and I don't remember what class he was, but I pounded the table for Creed Humphrey. That was the dude that I wanted. I
And
wanted
Linderbaum too.
Linderbaum too. Right. Those are the two centers that I absolutely loved. And I don't dream about the 300-pound lineman. I dream about the 6'3", 245. I dream about the guys like Abdul Carter, them freaks of nature, those defensive ends, those linebackers that just get after the quarterback and kill him. But I know how important the center position is, especially when you want to run the fucking football, because you need to run in between the tackles. Yeah. You can't always go outside the tackles. And if your center is getting pushed back into the running back, like when Marcus Bowe got shoved back, and not that he was a center, but when Marcus Bowe got shoved into the backfield and Cam Scadaboo ran right there, like he trucked a couple of commanders and he trucked his own guy. I'm surprised Marcus Bowe didn't get hurt. Cam Scadaboo ran into his ass. But I mean, he got shoved in the backfield 3 yards.
Yeah.
You're not going to win when you can't win at the point of attack. And that starts with the center. That's a big position. And he's undersized. He hasn't gotten any stronger. And he constantly gets dominated. He's too slow. He's too weak. And he's got to be gone. They're going to have to replace him.
I tend to agree. It's certainly trending that way. We still have a year to look at him, but I don't. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he's a long-term answer at center. I don't think he's long-term answer at center, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, Chris, none of these guys are long-term answers.
Yeah,
on this offense, you can't look at one guy and go, "Yep, Runyon's a long-term answer. Schmitz is Illuminor. Van Roten's on. He's old as hell, so he's not. I do like Illuminor still, but he didn't play well at all either. He was terrible. They could say he only gave up one pressure, and that's fine. But that dude the Giants couldn't run the ball, and they kept going to that side, and he got put. There's reasons. Again, take PFF with a grain of salt. He gave him the least amount of pressures, and he had like the lowest PFF grade in the team. So he didn't do a good job. None of them did a good job. I think the highest PFF grade was 61. That's fucking pathetic. And it's against a team that couldn't stop Green Bay. If Jordan Love hits a couple of those deep passes, they score 42 points. Like, he had a guy, there was a really nice play by Amos. The ball was underthrown a little bit. Cornerback came back to knock it away. And then he just missed a guy by about a half a yard who got by. I mean, Lattimore got burned all night.
Yeah.
Lattimore looked like freaking Darrelle Revis against us. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating what this team is.
Same thing every year.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's not the same every year. Well, this year we have Sleeper on board. They're not the same. Check out Sleeper. They sponsor my channel during the football season. Always appreciate them coming on board. If you guys haven't checked out Sleeper, do so. I wonder if I can do this with you here. I'm going to see if I can bring up my picks. Let me see if I can do that. I don't know if it's going to work. I'll show you my picks for this week. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, let's see it.
Where's my picks?
Are these Giant picks like prop
players? I went Eagles. I went Eagles and I went Eagles. Whoops. I gotta do this one. Nope, that didn't work. Hi, Chris. Yeah, so Chris is there.
All
but
right.
There's my picks.
All right, so we got Mahomes, we got Dotson. What is that, over 20.5?
Oh, that didn't show up all the way. Yeah, I have him over. I have Mahomes over 20.5 rushing yards. I have Jahan Dotson over 10.5 receiving yards. And I have Travis Kelce under 54 receiving yards.
I think the Kelce pick I like because he looked old as hell week one.
Yeah, he did. He did. So those are my picks. Those are the ones that I have going on there.
Yeah.
So I thought they were pretty decent. Dotson only needs one catch. I think he get that. And I think Mahomes is going to be running for his life. So I think over 20 rushing yards, I think he can do that too. So we'll see. I've been 2 out of 3 every week so far. We'll see if I get that one. When I did my picks this week, the Giants game was not available. That's why I went with Eagles and Chiefs. But if you guys want to check it out and you guys think you know what you're doing and you want to get some picks and get in there and want to test your football skill and your football knowledge, well, check out Sleeper. They have a great promotion going. Let's hear from them. 80 seconds back with the questions after this. What's going on, guys and gals? Do you think you know football? Then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any daily fantasy app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you can win up to 100 times your money if your picks win. There's also a couple of really cool things about the Sleeper app. You can place in-game contests, contest voids for injuries. There's only a $1 minimum entry for users. Updated scoring to track your fantasy players' sleeper picks in real time. Entries can be made within 30 seconds. It's really that easy, and you get safe and fast withdrawals. You can check out my picks for the week right over here. And you guys can do the same thing. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. And I got a great promotion for you guys. Just use the promo code BADDOG, that's BADDOG, and Sleeper will match your first deposit all the way up to $100. You definitely want to check out the Sleeper app. There's a lot of fun to be had on that. Test your football knowledge and skill, win some money, and let's go. Yep, that's right. I could probably get rid of the Let's Go Giants. They ain't going anywhere. Again, kids getting the dog wound up. I can hear it. Our guy, Stephen Lilly, from across the pond. Jesus, it's like 1:30 in the morning. Our UK viewers are absolute legends.
He's an original UK viewer. I think Lily, at least vocally, my comment section is my first UK viewer I ever had.
Probably here too.
So he's been an incredible supporter of both of ours. So
since the beginning days of Chris and the Baddog.
Yeah.
He says they been a member for 76 months. Two best NFL content creators on YouTube. There's definitely a coach. Is there a defensive coach we could bring in who will be super aggressive with this defense? We had him.
Yeah.
Or are we stuck with this plunker? Let's go Giants. Let's go 56 to go. Is there any defensive guys I can think of?
Not off the top of my head. I
had the aggressive guy.
I do think this will be Bowen's last year if this defense doesn't look a hell of a lot better, really soon. I think this will be his last year with the Giants as a DC.
Yeah. We had Wink. He would have done wonders with this defense. I was thinking to myself, I don't want to get into the coaching changes already, but tell you a guy I would like to see, although we haven't had a defensive-minded coach in a while, but Cliff Kingsbury. I'd like Cliff Kingsbury to be the Giants.
Oh, he's offense, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We haven't had a defensive guy in a while, but
yeah,
that's a name that comes to mind.
Yeah, he's a guy that obviously a quarterback guy, right? So a guy with more of a proven track record as a head coach than Dable. Not saying a whole lot, but
right.
Maybe he's a possibility.
We should have. To your point, you love Harbaugh. We should have. I don't know why.
Harbaugh I was pounding the table for Harbaugh back in 2020 but obviously it didn't even come close to happening. But I would have loved it. The Giants, and I was surprised. There was a lot of Giants fans that did not want Harbaugh in 2020 when there was like slight rumors that he'd be interested. I never got that. He's always been a tremendous coach, and you know how much I love him. I picked the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl this year before the year started. So I'm a big Harbaugh fan. I would have loved if he was the Giants coach. I think he would have turned this team around. Yeah,
well, he would have turned it around better than all we're doing is turning around, and we're doing a 360 instead of a 180. So we end up being right. We end up right back where we started, and we're fucking dizzy. That's really what it is with the Giants, which is insane. Chris, thank you, brother. Wonder why the Giants thought just get a new QB and the offense would be better. I don't know what else they could do. They really just addressed the defense this year, and they drafted Marcus Bowe and they drafted Scadaboo. But yeah, they just attack defense.
The Giants. That was the only move to make. If we're being honest, like you could only they used Daniel Jones as the punching bag for the last couple of years. Understandably so, he wasn't good, but he was blocking them from taking all the criticism. Now Daniel Jones is gone. You had to replace him. There's no more blocking now for Joe Shane and Brian Dable. This is your team now. This is your team. You drafted your quarterback. These players are all your guys. So the team's either going to look a hell of a lot better before the end of this year, or they're going to be looking for new jobs.
And we might be looking for a new quarterback.
Yeah, it could be.
You never know. You got Drew Aller coming out. You got Garrett Nussmeier coming out. I don't think Arch is going to come out, but you never know. And if the Giants are sitting there with the number one pick in the draft, and Jackson Dart doesn't look all that, and you lose Shane and you lose Daboll, the new GM ain't got no reason to sit there and go, yeah, I want to keep this old quarterback that they have. He'll be the backup, or they'll look to trade him. But if we win 2 games and Jackson Dart looks terrible and it's a new GM,
I don't even want to think about that because we have a long
Neither.
season to go, and hopefully we win this Sunday, and we get that thought out of our head. But of course, in that scenario, that's a very realistic possibility. And the Daniel Jones, it's only 1 week, right? We've all seen Daniel Jones before. He may revert back to really bad quarterback play.
Yep.
Entirely possible. But I think what you saw from Daniel Jones week 1 is exactly why Joe Shane signed Daniel Jones to begin with after 2022. Because if they let him go and he was effective on another team, and this team looks the way that they did in 23, he would have looked like an absolute fool coming off a playoff season. And they look like fools right now, the way that Daniel Jones looked after that first week and the way the offense looked coming out. But it's only been 1 week.
Can you imagine the Colts winning that division?
They might. They might.
That might also get Joe Shane in the door because
that's not a good division, the AFC South.
It's not, and that's what I'm saying. He let Barkley walk. Barkley went for 2,000, and I agreed with letting Barkley go. I mean, they tried to sign him. Barkley didn't want to be here. I mean, he did what he could do in 2022. But anyway, Barkley walked out the door, went for 2,000, won a Super Bowl with our most hated rival. And can you imagine, like you said, the guy that they used as a scapegoat all these years goes to Indianapolis and wins a division title. I'm not saying they're winning a Super Bowl, but even if they win a division title, I mean, they were 8-9 last year, so it's not like they were terrible.
Yeah.
They didn't show up against us for some reason. I don't know what the hell happened in that game, but it would be really bad. I'd be like, oh, if Daniel Jones can go over there and succeed, then there's something wrong here because he couldn't succeed here. So how can he go to another team? It's the same guy. I wouldn't say their receivers are top tier receiver. They're not bad. I mean, they got a couple
solid. They got
a solid receiver.
Warren's a nice player. Pierce is a pretty good receiver.
Right, they're nice players, but they're not. It's not AJ Brown.
They don't have an elite receiver.
It's not CeeDee Lamb. It's not Justin Jefferson. It's not those guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we had nice receivers, but we might have had a little below average receivers actually. But last year we had a couple nice receivers, but they couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I got that one right.
Yeah, you got that one.
Dr. Garrett, thank you, bro. As your doctor, I would prescribe at least an ounce of weed to watch his team pretend to play for 3 hours. There you go. In the clouds. In the clouds.
Smoke weed every day.
Oh, that's not loud enough. Yeah. Always got to turn that soundboard up. Do it again.
Smoke weed every day.
Should just change it to smoke weed every Sunday. That's what it should be. But it's a good prescription. Weed and alcohol. Anything to help you through. Bleach, whatever. Giants are awful.
Awful.
Zeke, thank you, brother. He says, guys, what's up? Good to see you, Zeke. I've been saying for years it looks like we're playing a different game than the rest of the league. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling, as Big D Potato would say.
Hope you're doing well, Zeke, man. Good to see you. Another great supporter of ours, always in the streams. Yeah, I mean, it's the same story every year. At the end of the day, it feels every year you go into the game, you have hope that the team gets better, and then you see the offensive line week 1, and you're like, "Yep, we're gonna suck this year." It's that, and that's how I felt, and it's how I felt. I remember the first year I was doing this on YouTube, Baddog. The game against the Jaguars to open up the season, Barkley's rookie year, first drive, Eli Manning got obliterated 3 straight plays because Eric Flowers couldn't block a cone, and I said, "Oh, season's over." You knew the season was over right then and there. First drive, not even before the end of the first game. And maybe I have a glimmer of hope because we haven't seen Jackson Dart yet, and Andrew Thomas wasn't in the lineup. So we know this isn't our best. But that offensive line, Baddog, made me feel similar. Made me feel like, well, same shit. Same shit.
Yeah. The only thing that gave me hope in that game was Barkley broke like a 75-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
And cut it close. We ended up losing 20-15. But, yeah, that was the year that we started doing the show. We were 1-7. We started at the bye that year, and then they won like 3 in a row, and we thought we were the good luck charm. And then they finished like a season. They finished the season like 4-4, and they could have finished 7-1. Like they blew a couple.
They were competitive in the second half that year. Yeah,
and we thought we were going forward, and that's when they drafted Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
and everything went sideways after that. Brian Graziano, thank you, brother. Usually patient, but I'm out of this. I mean, people will say that too, Brian. Oh, it's just one game. It's not one game. It's 4 years. Like somebody said, you got to be patient, man. I'm like, it's their 4th year. What do you mean? They're giving up on Dable already. It's his 4th year. I didn't give up on him in 2022, like when they lost 4 in a row, whatever the hell that was. And it's just like now, it's just like I don't believe that they can do it. I really don't, because I was thinking the same thing a lot of them were. Hey, Daniel Jones is the issue.
Yeah.
So Russell Wilson looked like Daniel Jones, so maybe it wasn't Daniel Jones.
Well, I think the thing is, I think a lot of the fan base, not that I'm sticking up for Daniel Jones was bad the last 2 years, and I think he was mentally shot because of how bad the offensive line was. Like I think I really do. We saw that with Eli Manning late in his career as well. And obviously he couldn't scan the field well. We all know that when they tried to expand the playbook. But I think the fan base wanted to point the finger at Daniel Jones above anything else and not even acknowledge any other problem, because that brings hope. You say, okay, if they just replace the quarterback, this team's going to be A-okay. We're going to be trending down the right path. We'll be competitive. It's much harder when the entire offensive line is a disaster, when you have doubts about the head coach, when there's so many holes on this football team. And we'll see. Maybe Jackson Dart will be like a, why does the name escape me right now? I'm trying to think of a famous magician, but maybe he'll come in and David Copperfield. Houdini, David Copperfield. Maybe he'll come in and he'll just, perform miracles for the New York Giants like Joe Burrow did with the Bengals. And we'll say, well, we got our guy. This team's ready to roll.
Or Jane Daniels did it with the Commanders too.
Yeah. So I'm not, anything's possible, but I have my doubts. I
do too, just because he's on this team.
Yeah.
Even if Dart, he said, Brian goes on to say, even if Dart is good, they've had 4 off seasons to fix the old line, and every move failed. Can't trust him to fix it. I agree. That's why I'm out on him. They haven't fixed it. And again, I think 4 years is like my limit. Now, I wanted to get rid of Pat Shurmur fast. I did not like the Shurmur hire to begin with, and I wanted him out. I thought Joe Judge was king of New York in 2020, and first game of 2021, I completely flipped the script, and I knew he wasn't. And that's kind of what happened here. I've been very supportive of Coach Dable. I've stuck up for him, and this first game, I was like, I'm done, man. I'm not sticking up for the guy anymore. It's over. He's got to turn it around. He's got to prove to me he can win. I can't just sit there and go, I believe he can win. He has to show me he can win before I have any faith in him or Bowen or Kafka or any of these guys. And winning cures everything. You win the game against Dallas. I don't think we will. I don't think it'll be close. I think we lose like 27-10. But if you find a way to win, there's a lot of good feelings going on.
We haven't really even talked about that game. My biggest worry of that game, I think the offense is going to look better. It can't look worse. I think the offense will look slightly better, hopefully a lot better, against the Dallas Cowboys. But I just don't see how we're going to be able to keep up with them. And I hope I'm wrong. But I even as the Dallas defense is not going to be near what it was in the past. They're missing
Parsons,
Bland, and their best corner,
Ron Bland. Yeah.
So they're not a great defense, but I didn't think Washington was a great defense either. But even if the Giants offense looks better next week, I don't see how we're going to keep up with them. Their offense is good. I mean, our defense is good, but are we going to be able to keep that Dallas offense under 27 points, 24 points? I have my doubts. I was impressed with their offense when they went up against the Eagles. Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, they still have a good offense. So maybe we keep it competitive, but I have my doubts that we're going to be able to keep that Dallas offense under 24 or 27 points. And if we can't, I don't see how we beat them, if I'm being honest.
You mentioned it before. We never sack Dak Prescott. We never sack him. Yeah. And if you're not getting pressure on him and you got Pickens and CeeDee Lamb having time to run routes and Dak having time to survey, he's going to pick us apart. Yeah. He's going to pick us apart. That's what I'm saying. Just go for fucking broke. Yeah. If guys are failing, if Theo Johnson drops past, it's Bellinger. Theo, you're done. If James Hudson's getting killed, you're done, bro. It's Marcus Bow time. And like you mentioned on Collective, and I don't want to see it, but if you can't score a touchdown in the first half, you're down 13-3 or 17-3, it might be time to say fuck it. We're putting Jackson Dart in there. We have to.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I've acknowledged at this point. I don't know if it'll happen this week, but it's gonna happen much sooner than I initially thought it was going to, because they're gonna feel the heat. At the end of the day, their jobs they're gonna live and die with him. And if this team falls down 0-4, 0-4, 0-5, and then Dart doesn't look good for a few weeks, and you're 0-7, 0-8, well, at that point, you're already packing your bags and you're looking for a new job next year. So I do think they're going to feel the pressure to throw him in there. If not this week, probably the week after, if this offense doesn't look significantly better week 2.
Especially if we lose, 0-2, fan base is down.
Yeah.
And you're going to your home opener against the defending AFC champions, and you might just say, we're throwing him in there, and we want to get a spark. We want to have the crowd get excited about something.
Yeah.
So it just sucks. Like you said, to be after week one, to be so downtrodden after 1 week to the point we're already talking about getting rid of the coaches and the draft, and Jackson Dart might not be the future. Like, and he hasn't even played a snap. It's insane. I mean, that's what the Giants do to you.
Yeah.
They've been such a lousy team. It's not like they've been good here and there. They had 3 good years and they started off 0-1. If we were in the playoffs 2022, 2023, 2024, and we lost to Washington, we'd say, well, that sucks, but we know we're good. We know we'll bounce back. We're in the playoffs every year, and we had a bad game. But every game is a bad game for the Giants. And it's like now when they win, it's like, whoops, that was an aberration. Like, that's not really the Giants. Remember that game against Seattle last year, Chris?
Yeah.
We said maybe they turned it around. And then they proceeded to lose, 8 or 9 in a row after that? 9 in a row, right?
Yeah.
So they got to 2-2. It was the best game they played. We're like, wow, what the hell is this team we're watching? And the next thing you know, they're 2-11. So not good. Nicole, thank you so much. He says, do you believe JMS would be great in another team? I have no doubt.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be great, but he'd definitely be better on another.
Yeah.
He'd definitely be better.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Our guy, LA Lou, thank you, bro. By the way, 5'11" in the house. Appreciate you hanging out with Chris and the Baddog on a Friday night. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell. And, of course, make sure you subscribe to Chris. That guy is over there. Games on his channel. We'll be back. People were like, where's Chris? Where's Chris? What happened to you, Chris? I'm like, Chris is down. Like, Chris is hanging out with Anthony in Jersey. We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Back on Sunday.
I'll bring the toilet paper playbook and everything.
Join us for Torture on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
Bring a pumpkin beer, a toilet paper playbook, and we'll laugh about how shitty the Giants are. And maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. And we'll pull up.
I hope so.
Great. Lou says, hey, guys, how are you? We'd be better. It's Friday, so that's good. Not being a consummate Giants fan, I remain an optimist. With time, you may have to start the future early with Dart. They need someone to rally around, seen it before. They're going to have to, Lou. It's going to have to be sooner than later because, like Chris mentioned, you can't go 0-6 and then go up. Let's throw them in there now. And I think Anthony mentioned that too. You just go in. You have to die with your boots on. You pick the guy, you go in, you live and die with him. If he sucks, you're gone anyway.
Yeah.
If you don't put him in, you lose, you're gone. If you put him in, he sucks and you lose, you're gone. If you put him in and you lose some games, but you win some games and you're competitive and he looks really good, you still have your job. If the Giants ended up 5-12, but Dart looks like he can play, and you're like,
they'll be back. Yeah, they'll be back.
We need another wide receiver, but you got your quarterback. Now go ahead and build around your quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very soon.
It all comes down to him. It all comes down to him. And I have my doubts. And it's not even because of him that I have my doubts. It's because of how bad this line is that I have my doubts that he's going to be able to look good in his rookie year. And if he's not, it could come crumbling down. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. I hope that they continue to build and they have something to grow into going into next year.
The only thing you can say is he's a lot more mobile than Russ is at this point in his career. So that might help. But speaking of Russ's mobility, I would love to see them roll him out of the pocket now and again because they can't, I just watched Green Bay and Washington just so easily just roll out and throw 6-yard passes, going to the sideline, and it's 2nd down and 4. And I'm like, why can't we do that? Like, they make it look so easy. And we make everything look like it's, advanced physics, quantum physics. It's what it looks like. So I don't know what the hell we do. 3-yard passes should not be so difficult. Darnell, thank you, man. Winston should have started. Russ's game is straight 3-point shots, no midi game. Very predictable.
I don't think it would have mattered.
I don't either.
I mean, now I will say Russ definitely got to a point where he looked shell-shocked. But, I mean, that's most quarterbacks to the Giants because the offensive line's atrocious. But
yeah, the only thing is Jameis might have turned it over. Russ didn't turn it over. Jameis, he has those. Yeah,
I don't think it would have mattered. Maybe we score a touchdown, but we probably also, like you said, have 2 or 3 more turnovers with all the pressure that was being generated. So.
With all that pressure on Jameis, he might just sort a couple upper grabs. That's what he is. He's a riverboat gambler.
Yeah.
But if they didn't sign Russ, they would have went with Jameis. But Jameis is going to be the backup for 2 years, and I mean, I don't think Jameis is ever going to start. I do think they're going right to Dart.
They're definitely going right to Dart.
Yeah, there's no reason to even bring Jameis in. He's not your future. And I love Jameis.
They already have Dart listed as a QB2. Dart got all the reps in the preseason with the second team. So,
yeah, Jameis didn't even dress.
Yeah, they're definitely if and when they replace Russ, it's going to be Dart that replaces him.
Yep. Chris B, thank you. 25-year-old third-round pick, Darius Alexander, not even playing. Yikes. Yeah, he's 25. It's not like he's a kid. Well, he is a kid to me, but
I was surprised that he did. I didn't think he was going to have much of a role because he didn't really do much in the preseason, and he wasn't playing with the first, or I don't even think second team in the preseason. So I didn't think he was going to get many snaps at all. But the fact that he didn't even dress, that was a little bit of a surprise week one. A little bit.
Yeah, and I think also surprised that Jalen Hyde didn't even see the field. Like, why did you give him a roster spot if you're not even going to play him?
Yeah.
What is the point of not even playing him? And then you heard Darius Slayton might not play, but it seems like he's going to play now. But they were saying that Bo Collins will get the start. Like, how down are they on Jalen Hyatt that he can't even start if Darius Slayton? Why do we even have him? Why haven't you traded him? If you have no faith, if he's just going to sit there and keep the bench warm or serve water to the players, what are you keeping him there for?
Yeah.
Why is he taking up a roster spot? Put Turbo Miller on the roster.
Yeah. I see Marvin. I just want to be on the record. I do not have that delusion. I hope above all else that he proves me wrong and he comes in and he's a magician, like I said, Marvin. But Marvin says, I love the delusion where people think Dart is coming in and saving everything. I do not have that delusion. I think this offensive line is awful. and without Andrew Thomas in there, and a good Andrew Thomas at that. I don't think he's going to be the real Andrew Thomas for at least a couple of weeks. I think this offense is going to look like trash. Maybe Dart comes in and gives you a spark for a game like Daniel Jones did his rookie year. But I think when defenses get a book on him with the surrounding talent around him on this team, I think it's going to be a disaster. And I pray to God I'm wrong, Bad Dog. I pray I'm wrong. I
don't think either one of us have ever come out with Dart saving the season.
Yeah.
Dart could save their job if he plays well, but he's not going to save the season. I don't. This team doesn't have enough talent for Dart to save the season.
Yeah,
especially in front of him. It's a bad unit. And Tyrone Tracy got off to a great start in his career, but like the last 6 games, he has not been good. And that's because the offensive line can't block.
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Tyrone Tracy was great last week. He only averaged like 2 yards a carry. He was getting hit in the backfield, 3 yards deep. Like he had 3 or 4 incredible runs where he should have lost 2 or 3 yards, and he got 4. So that's how bad the offensive line was. Like Tyrone Tracy, I remember I was watching the game with Anthony, and I'm like, that was an incredible run by Tyrone Tracy. And he got 3 yards because it felt like it was an 8-yard game because he was getting hit 3 yards deep in the backfield. The offensive line was atrocious. I actually thought Tracy had a really good game. The stats don't show that, but I actually thought he played well last week, as crazy as that may sound.
I just can't believe we didn't run any screen passes. Like I said, when you're getting beat up front, man, you want the defensive back. You want the defensive ends and the tackles in your backfield when you set up a screen, and they're back there anyways. I can't believe we didn't try it once. You just saw them constantly do it in the preseason, and you and I marveled and go, wow, like these screens are successful. Like when's the last time you ran successful screen passes? We didn't see one screen pass against Washington, not one. And all 3 of these backs can catch. They threw it out to them in the flat. I mean, the one big play Scatterboo had where he probably won the angry run award was when he ran over the defender, which I think was Amos. That Redskins secondary the Commander secondary cannot tackle for shit. They're bad. They're bad last night. I saw Jordan Love knock over Amos. He ran his ass right over.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't tackle, but Scatterboo should have got more carries. He gave you a spark when he ran over the defender. You need guys like that. You need to mix it up, man. I don't know what happens. The Giants get clam up. They just shut down when it matters. It's like, we don't want to make a mistake. Don't make a mistake. Well, fuck it. If you have to make a mistake, you have to try. You can't play scared. You're not going to win that way. I used to say it all the time. And you know what? I think Brian Dable and Mike Kafka come from the same school as Dr. Garrett there. Prevent offense. That's what we play. We play fucking prevent offense on the Giants. I don't get it.
They have to just throw the ball up to Leak early.
Fucking Leak down there somewhere. Russ did it once.
Yeah, he did.
Russ had like a hell of it. I don't even care. I'm throwing it.
You got
Leak to play.
They need to pellet him with targets early in this game because he's the type of player just get the ball in his hands, and he might be able to turn the play 60 yards.
How about some bubble screens to get him out in space and end around? We saw Green Bay run 3 end arounds last night.
Yeah,
and they all worked.
Yeah.
This is amazing. We're just fans and we can see it. I don't understand it. Now the players have, Carl Banks says all the time, players have to execute. I mean, I agree they do, but I thought that game plan sucked. It was terrible. It was too conservative on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Lou, I mean, when you're bad, you got to take chances. Yeah. You just do. Lou says bypass Winston. He's QB2. Wilson isn't the Wilson of old. He's no longer Houdini or Rallier. Let the kid learn. They're going to have to, Lou.
They're going to, Lou. It's happening. It's a matter of when, not if. It's going to happen very soon.
Yeah, it's true. Chris, thank you, brother. I think the problem is teams don't value they don't value the running back position at all. Shane doesn't value that.
I don't think that's the problem, if I'm being honest.
It's not the problem, but it is a problem.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't even necessarily think he doesn't value it. I just don't think he puts a premium emphasis on it. He has drafted running backs. He drafted Scadaboo in the 4th round. He drafted Tracy, I think, in the 4th or 5th round. He just doesn't want to pay a back like Saquon Barkley big money. But that's a lot of GMs. That's not just Joe Shane. I don't think that's the reason why the Giants are bad. I think it's a lot of other reasons. But I don't think it's because he doesn't value running backs.
Well, he doesn't value running backs.
But he does not. He doesn't believe in paying one big buff.
And I wouldn't either behind this offensive line. What the hell? I mean, it doesn't matter if the guy's getting Tracy money or Barkley money. You can't run when you can't block.
Yeah.
The problem, he doesn't value the running back position, but the problem is he doesn't understand offensive line talent. And it's not just him. It's been the previous 2 GMs as well. They can't. Reese drafted Eric Flowers. He was awful. Gettleman drafted Will Hernandez should have been. That was a Reese pick too, wasn't it? Will Hernandez.
He was a Gettleman pick.
Was he? I thought he was
second round pick, Gettleman's first draft. It was Barkley and Hernandez.
Oh, that's right. Barkley and Hernandez. That's right. I'm thinking the Sterling Shepard draft was.
Yeah, then we went with Zoe Carter, BJ Hill, who we then later traded for Billy Price.
And he ended up being really good, and Billy Price ended up being nothing.
That was a great trade.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That worked out really
look
well.
Back at some of Gettleman's drafts. He actually drafted.
How good is Leo?
Leo's been really good since we traded him.
He was good here
too, if we're being honest. He was good here. I think Baddog Leo was very underappreciated by a lot of Giants fans because he didn't put up incredible sack numbers. But look at the run defense since we traded him.
I know.
Like, our run defense is like the worst in the league since we traded Leonard Williams. And if you don't think that has a lot to do with it, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, imagine him next to Dexter now that Dexter Lawrence developed into the player he's developed into.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been able to replace Leonard Williams since they traded him. I'm just saying every move the Giants make is bad.
Yeah.
Their trades never work in their favor. The free agent signings never work in their favor.
Yeah.
Cursed are the New York Giants. Lou, thank you, brother. I blame the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. And I blame the head coach because he sucks too. The offense was junior high school simple. The base defense was the prevent. Completely pussified. Have some Brian Day balls. I used to call him Day balls. Now he's Brian D. Bald because he doesn't take any chances. And it is, Lou. Like you just said, high school simple, base defense. That's the shit you run in the preseason. Why are we doing that in game 1 of the regular season?
I do think we're going to see them open it up when Dark comes in. I do think that. I just don't know if it's going to be successful. But I do think.
I just want to see something different, Chris. I just want to see him take some shots.
Yeah.
How many years have we just begged him to throw the ball down the field?
Yeah.
No, I don't care if we throw a pick. Those shit 60 yards. How excited did we get even when it was preseason when Russell Wilson hit Bo Collins for that 60-yarder, 80-yarder, but 60 yards in the air?
Yeah.
We were like, holy shit, look, we got a quarterback throws the ball deep. And then he got there and he became, check down Charlie. I don't understand. I don't get it. Flickers. Thank you, man. Started watching all in 8th grade.
Wow.
DJ's debut. Now I'm in college. So crazy. It's my first super chat. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, brother. I was for the 6 years I was a freeloader. No, it's fine. We're just happy you show up to the shows. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. That's the best way you can support us. I mean, if you donate, obviously greatly appreciative, but if you're here, man, you're not freeloading. This YouTube is free. I always say it's the best free money you'll ever spend. Just hit the thumbs up and subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe to the channels, but we appreciate you. Marcus Bowe triple. Let's go. I appreciate you.
Might catch our first touchdown. I think the odds went up significantly in Vegas after that play call, so it could happen.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Cruzon's been with us forever. He says, thank you, buddy. He says, I like our front four and secondary more than the Packers, but their inside linebackers look so much better. Those guys play downhill. Yes, that was one thing. Cruzon, they don't miss tackles.
Well, especially now that McFadden's hurt too. I mean, and Bobby Okereke definitely looks a step or two slower. I saw a lot of people do film breakdowns on Twitter after the game, and you could really see it with the old 22 angles. Like he's not as reactionary as he should be at that position. At least last week he wasn't. So yeah, I definitely think our linebackers need a massive upgrade. That's a position that I think the Giants actually need to address relatively early in next year's draft. They need a long-term answer at that position, Bad Dog, the middle linebacker. They absolutely do. Yeah.
We haven't had one in a long time. I mean, still, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Carter's an end. They haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round since our friend Carl Banks.
Yeah.
And that was 1984. That was the year I started watching the Giants. So you're talking 41 years they haven't drafted a linebacker.
Now I don't want them taking one in the first round next year. I'm already telling you right now, I'm giving everybody a preview. 300-pound man in the first round next year.
First three picks need to be offensive linemen.
First round, I am pounding the table for a lineman next year. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Yeah.
Adam, thank you so much for the $2 donation and supporting the channel, brother. Appreciate you very much, my friend. Thank you so much. Sebastian, thank you, brother. He says, hey, guys, if you were the offensive coach or offensive coordinator coach, how would you teach your line to pick up stunts? That seems to be a reoccurring problem.
I don't. Neither one of us, Bad Dog, pretend to be some genius when it comes to football. We're just fans who watch a team that we love and we talk about them. But what I would do, Sebastian, is I would say whatever that guy taught you that just left the building, do the complete opposite. Because whatever these offensive line coaches have been teaching this team, especially when it comes to picking up stunts,
they haven't picked up a stunt in 20 years.
Awful. I mean, my God. So. Just do the opposite of what the last offensive line coach told you to do, and it should be a lot better.
I think part of the issue with the stunts is that the Giants just move so slow, and I feel like they all have slow feet. So as soon as one of the linemen breaks to the left and the guy goes right, he can't get back to block him, and I really think that's the problem. I just think they're not athletic enough to pick up a stunt. I think they're just not a good offensive line. I don't think it's anything schematically that's kind of getting messed up. I just don't think they're good enough to get back and pick up the guy that stunted with the other guy. And that's really the big – I don't think the guy can get back in position.
Yeah.
And they have to constantly double team because they suck. If they just had guys that were one-on-one and they just had to hold their spot, I think they'd be fine. But a lot of times, especially on the interior offensive line, you're finding that they have to double because they're getting beat inside. And when you get beat inside, the quarterback has no shot. If they get beat outside, he can still step up in the pocket. If they're getting beat inside, you can't run, you can't step into a throw, and you can't really get away from them because the quarterback has no time to react. So when John Michael Schmitz is getting killed immediately and you got to give him help, you're going to get killed on stunts. And I think that's why this has not worked. Like they can't pick it up in years. I don't think it's anything coaching. I just think it's lack of talent, if I'm being honest.
I definitely think talent obviously has a lot to do with it.
A lot to do with it. Adam, thank you, brother. Thoughts on Abdul at inside linebacker?
Not full time, but I definitely think you're going to play him there in certain instances, especially with the McFadden injury. But I think I still think his biggest value is playing him off the edge, rushing him up the middle behind Dexter Lawrence. So moving him around, but he has to be used mainly as a pass rusher. You don't want him dropping back in coverage and playing as a traditional inside linebacker.
Yeah. Just get him on the field, man.
Although that was his position in college.
Yeah.
And then his last year he went to the edge, but I think he's best suited to be, rushing the quarterback.
Inside linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive tackle, defense. I don't give a shit. Get the guy in the field. I don't care where the hell you line him up. Just put him out there. And just put him out there and tell him, oh, he's not a good run defender. Abdul, go get the quarterback.
Yeah.
Just go get him. That's what Lawrence Taylor always said, right? He's like, if I didn't know what I was doing, I just always rushed the quarterback.
Yeah.
I remember his rookie. Well, I don't remember because I was too young. I didn't start watching Taylor until '84, but I remember watching a show, and it was his rookie year, and Bill Parcells says, What the hell was that? He just went after the quarterback, totally messed up a play. And Bill Parcells was the linebackers coach at that point. Said, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he did it again. And Parcells was like, "What are you doing? Whatever you're doing, we don't even have that in our playbook." And Taylor said, "Well, you better put it in, coach, because it's working." And then Lawrence so he said, "If I didn't know the play, I just went after the quarterback. Just put Carter in there and let him rush."
Yeah, I agree. That's what he does best. Yeah.
Yeah, to hell with it. Do something different. DSD, do something different. Thor, thank you, brother. This is what I can't seem to wrap my head around. Dable called plays last year, and this year we have Kafka. So how the hell do we look at the exact same?
I tell you how. The offensive line. The offensive line. That's the common denominator, right? You got your new quarterback. After week 1, it looks like shit. The offensive line is still trash. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to have a good offense when you can't block, bad dog. Especially like you said on the interior. Like when your interior looks as bad as it did week 1, I don't care who's calling the plays. Yeah. You're going to struggle.
It doesn't matter. It could be Ben Johnson calling plays. It could be Bill Walsh calling the plays. If you can't block, you're not going to be able to do a lot. If you don't have time for your running back, if you can't get a hole for your running back, the quarterback has no time to throw the football, survey the field, and go through his progressions, you're really going to struggle. And that has been the common denominator for many years now, is that. We got 524, and I appreciate your 28 likes. We have 200. Hit that thumbs up. Let's get 200 likes. That would be awesome. We appreciate you spending Friday with us. Chris and the Bad Dog are back. We'll be back Sunday, too. You're not going to want to miss that. It's always fun when we do the game together, even if the Giants suck. At least we have a good time. I missed you last week because it was a struggle, and I was doing it on my own. So at least when I have someone to joke around with.
It was a game where you were like trying to convince yourself that the Giants were still in it, but the whole time you're watching it, you're like, well, I know they're not going to come back.
Yeah,
because they were close on the scoreboard. You're like, oh, after Gano made the kick, you're like, it's a 1-score game, like maybe. But yeah, it was one of those games where like your fan is telling you we're still in striking distance, but your brain's telling you, but they're not capable of striking.
Yeah. Tune in, Will. Thank you so much. First-time caller, long-time listener. I think Jason Giambi can really make a difference for us at quarterback. If you know, you know.
Mike Francesa.
Mike Francesa. You know. The Giambi thing was – I actually was going to do that. I never called Francesa. And I was going to do pretty much the same thing. I remember calling, and I was on hold for like a half an hour, 40 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm not waiting. But it was 2015. It was right in that area, 14, 15. And I was going to call him up and I was going to talk to him. Like, Mike, first time, long time. I was just curious your thoughts about the New York Giants because, obviously they've been struggling lately. They're not really looking really good. Tom Coughlin's been there for a long time. If we continue to struggle, have a bad year, could you see them firing, Tom Coughlin and hiring somebody like Jason Giambi? And I'll hang up and listen. That's what I was going to do to him because you have to string them along so we don't hang up on you immediately. But I didn't want to.
He was obsessed with Bronson Arroyo, to the point where I thought he was sleeping with him at one point. Like, every time I would tune on Francesa, he'd be talking about Bronson Arroyo. I'm like, he's on the Red Sox. Why do you love this guy so much?
Yeah, I love Mike Francesa. I don't care what anybody says. I always thought Francesa was great. His rants are great. One of the greatest rants ever was his rant in the Mets when they got swept by the Rockies. That was incredible. But I always loved how pissed off he would get at the prank calls. I mean, they made the show, and they even came up with the Mongo Nation because of the prank calls.
My favorite Francesa, and I'm not a huge Francesa fan. I thought he was a bit of a jerk, if I'm being honest.
He's a blowhard, and that's why I think I like him.
But he was entertaining. But my favorite Francesa rant was the Eli rant when he ripped into the Giants.
Oh, he killed
after they benched Eli. He went on like a 40-minute rant.
Yeah. He did. No, he's definitely has some good ones. I mean, it's obvious. I say it all the time when it comes to. I mean, I grew up listening to Mike and the Mad Dog, and I mean, it's obvious if you've ever listened to Mike and the Mad Dog, and then you listen to me, that I always feel like I'm a combination of both of those guys. I can rant with the best of them. I'm very passionate. I can be very stubborn as well. But the difference between me and Francesa is I can admit when I'm wrong. Francesa can't do that. Francesa can't say he was wrong. I don't know if I've ever heard him say, I made a mistake. Yeah. I remember him saying Bonds was walked like multiple times and the bases loaded. And the guy said he's been walked once. And he's like, you know what I meant. You know what I'm saying. It's like, Mike, you said he was walked 20 times on the base loading, he's walked once. You know what I meant? He couldn't just say, all right, I exaggerated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blue Collar, thank you so much. He said, O-line must be fixed. We can't measure Wilson, Kafka, Dable, wide receiver 2, tight end, running back, and Shane without the O-line being. Well, I think we can measure Shane because he hasn't fixed that part of it.
Yeah.
Problem is it can't get fixed now in week 2. Knicks is bone in the run defense. Yeah, I mean, I can blame Shane for the O-line, though. Shane's
tier 4. We've had enough time to measure. This line should look a lot better than it does. Yeah.
So I think we can measure Shane. Wide receiver 2 is Darius Slayton. I think we know what Slayton is. Tight end doesn't look good. Offensive line, be damned or not. If Theo Johnson dropped 2 out of 3 targets, he had 1 catch for 5 yards. This is a guy that they thought he'd be a big part of the offense. They let Greg Dulcich go. And they didn't even dress Fedoni. I'd like to see Fedoni dressed this week, Chris. He's a big red zone target.
Yeah.
Why not? Same thing with Jalen Hyatt. Isn't Jalen Hyatt like 6'2", 6'3"? Like, put the tall guys in there. You know, you talk about the beef up front. How about we beef it up and in the front? And if you're going to use a couple wide receivers, put Neighbors and Hyatt out there and put Fedoni in there and throw a fade pattern.
I'd like to see more Bellinger.
Yeah, especially in the red zone.
Yeah, I'd like to see more Bellinger.
You know what I'm saying? But like a guy like Jalen Hyatt, dude, I would rather.
I'm just so done with Jalen Hyatt.
So
and I hope he proves me wrong. But
as done as I am with him right now, dude, I would much rather see them throw a fade pass him in the corner of the end zone than a pass to Marcus Bowe on the goal.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah, of course.
Any day.
Yeah.
John, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. John, been a long time supporter of both of our channels. Appreciate you. We say it all the time. Being a Giants fan is the nightmare you can't wake up from. Call me when you're good. Yeah, John, I'm with you, buddy. Chris and I started this show in 2018, and our motto was we always appreciate everybody that comes in here. You guys are great supporters. We really appreciate you always supporting our channel. Just think about how it's going to be when we're good. And we've been saying about it for 8 years. Outside of 2022, we had fun.
We're still thinking about it.
But
I said it on Twitter a couple of days ago, John. Like I mentioned it, you know, I related it to the Giants offensive line, but it's really just the Giants in general. The Giants over the last 10 to 15 years, since their last Super Bowl, 13 years, for the most part, it's like waking up 17 times a year, every year for the last 13 years, willingly saying, I'm going to sit down and watch the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, knowing the outcome,
Ishtar,
and continue to and watch and try to enjoy it. Like that's what it's been like for the Giants for the last 13 years. You know the outcome, you know the offensive line shit, you know they're not going to be able to win at the point of attack, but you watch and you hope that the movie somehow gets better, even though that you already know the beginning, middle, and end.
Right, that it really is it. Rick, thank you, brother. Bad dog, Chris, good to see you. Giants are bad. Period. Pretty much sums it up. Yeah. You're not wrong. Our guy Neil, thank you so much. Matt LaFleur's schemes up so good. Everything's so easy. Dudes are running open everywhere. Meanwhile, we suck with the Super Bowl bros. Yeah, you know what sucks about that? Usually the best people are bald. I say it all the time. You think about the greatest wrestlers, Hogan bald, Stone Cold bald, The Rock bald. Like those are like the 3 icons of wrestling. That Shawn Michaels has his hair, I think, still, but he's like lost. And Bret Hart still has his hair. But you look at the baseball, you know, Barry Bonds was bald and Jeter was bald. And, you know, Barkley, well, we go to basketball. Kobe was bald and Jordan's bald and LeBron is bald and Barkley and Shaq, they're all bald.
Oh, yeah. Kobe went bald the second half of his career. I'm still thinking young Kobe, but yeah.
I mean, you know, unfortunately, it doesn't work with coaches, I guess. Somebody said on Twitter to me that like,
Andy Reid's bald, isn't he? He's a great coach.
He's got hair, don't he?
Does he? I don't even know.
Oh, no, but Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches, so it would matter that he's bald. But somebody said to me, they go, I've always had a thing, Bad Dog, don't hire a fat coach. Andy Reid is like the aberration. But fat coaches never succeed. And I was trying to think, if we had, like, I mean, Bill Parcells was heavy. He was pretty good.
His nickname was the Big Tuna.
Yeah. I mean,
he was heavy.
He was heavier. Just how about you hire guys that are good? Bald, fat, skinny, tall, short. I don't give a shit. Hire a guy that wins games. I'm just so sick of it. It's funny because obviously we just have to have a sense of humor about the whole thing and we would cry. about how bad it is all the time. Tom, thank you for supporting the channel, brother. Appreciate the $2 donation. Thank you so much. Mav Prick, thank you so much. I just don't understand why they can't put a comment and O-line together. I notice most of these super chats are saying the same thing, and that is everybody sees it, Chris.
If you left last week's game and you left it, I mean, obviously you could be discouraged about several different things, but if your main takeaway wasn't, oh my God, this offensive line is a joke, you didn't watch the game. Right. I mean, it was that bad. It was that bad last week. So I'm not surprised that that's the main takeaway by a lot of fans.
Yeah, I know. I just tell you they do watch the games and they do see it. You know, and I always like when they bring up that stat that says the dumbest fan bases are the Giants, and it has something to do with betting on the Giants. And you don't even know that's Giants fans betting on the Giants. It's just the people that bet on the Giants lose the most bets. That's what that graphic is. But they always want to say the Giants fan base is dumb. Giants fan, you know what though? They're probably right. We are dumb because we watch them every week. I mean, you got to be fucking dumb to watch every week. So yeah, I probably agree with it. No offense to you guys and girls in the chat, but shit, we got to be dumb to keep.
All that poll told me, Baddog, because it said that like you said, what that poll is, what everybody always posts on Twitter. It's a gambling poll. So basically what that means is Giants fans lose more money than anybody else. So
how do you know Giants fans that are betting? I think they're just
exactly all that told me is that, which makes sense. New York's a highly populated state. That Giants fans bet more than most fans. That's all, because when you bet, you're normally going to lose. So that's all that poll told me. Yeah.
Is there even a way to fix it at this point? No, unfortunately not, man. You got to hope they get better. You got to hope Andrew Thomas gets healthy. That's the way you fix it. That's the way you help it. There's no fix, but you can put a Band-Aid over a
well, yeah, I mean, there's a way to fix it.
Slow down the bleeding if Andrew Thomas can ever get healthy.
Yeah, I mean, for this year, there's no fixing it outside of Andrew Thomas and these guys getting better. But the way to fix it, even though we keep swinging and missing, is to continue to put resources into that offensive line. Just because Evan Neal doesn't work doesn't mean that the next tackle won't. So, you got to keep taking swings.
Yep, got to. L.A. Lou, thank you, brother. The old lineman has to stay in his lane. Well, that's the whole thing, man. You have to keep, and the thing is, like I said, I think because they're so bad, they go over to help, and then they can't get back. You have to keep the D-line at arm's length to get ready to switch. That's the problem. They can't switch.
Yeah.
One guy misses an assignment, it breaks down. If you switch, the rush goes nowhere. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They can't get back. They're not athletic enough, which is why I think our screen passes, it's not why I think, it's why I know for years our screen passes have sucked because our offensive line can't get out and lead block. They can't get out there. By the time they're out there, the defensive backs are in the backfield making the tackle. It's very rare that they actually go out there and block the guys. They usually miss because they're out there late or they have terrible, footwork or whatever it is. And next thing you know, you run a screen pass and you lost 5 yards, which is why when we were doing the preseason games, we were so impressed with the screen game. It always seemed to work.
And as we've established, Baddog, preseason now means jack shit.
It means
but I agree. And I saw Justin in the chat. I want to just quickly. I was excited today. Said I can't wait for Knicks basketball to get my or maybe just a basketball season. I was thinking Knicks when he said it. Knicks, man. Now they signed Brogdon. The Knicks bench, Baddog. The Knicks are the favorites to go to the finals this year.
Not you. No Tatum and no Halliburton this year.
They're the by far the favorites out of the East.
They have to be. If they can't get to the finals this year,
dude, you look at that bench. McBride's like their 10th guy now. He was the 6th man last year.
Yep. I was going to say that's something that was the big thing they were lacking last year was a bench. They didn't really have a ton of depth. Now they do.
Now you Hart's coming off the bench. You got Brogdon. You got Clarkson. The Knicks got
Clarkson can shoot the three.
Yeah, got a squad, Baddog.
They do. And again, with no Tatum and no Halliburton, I mean, you took the two really big threats in the East. You took their best player away from them.
Yeah.
And we still should have fucking beat Indiana. I don't know. That game one, there's certain games in Knicks lore that really bug me. And that one went right up there without question. Like that, I would say that one was up there with 95 when Miller, shoved Greg Anthony to the ground, caught the ball. Like the Knicks blew that 8-point lead and they had Reggie Miller scored 8 points in like 8 seconds. We had a 6-point lead. Starks missed both of them free throws. And then, we lost. That's up there with that. 93 game 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals with fucking Charles Smith. That one's the worst.
Ugh.
That's worse than Game 6 against the Rockets, Game 7 against the Rockets. 93 was the Knicks year. They had the Bulls. They had them beat that year.
And what was the year with the Heat when
97 when they
got into the fight?
when they suspended our entire team because of PJ Brown and Charlie Ward.
Yeah, that was another year where we may have had an opportunity.
Yeah, that was the best team Ewing had around him.
Yeah,
that year.
I really think Bad Dog. I mean, you never know. It's a long season. Injuries.
And they are the Knicks.
And they are the Knicks. But they're the favorites out of the East, man. They have to be.
Gotta be.
There have to be. There's no excuses this year. And I'll tell you what, a lot of pressure for the Knicks. You fired Tom Thibodeau after he's had all the success he's had with this team. They better be going to the NBA Finals this year.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure for the Knicks this year. A lot of pressure.
I mean, Thibodeau went to the playoffs more than the Knicks did in 20 years previous 20 years that he was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and he got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is no excuse.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of pressure. The Knicks aren't usually the ones that are like the favorites.
They're the favorites.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the favorites to win, but the favorites to go.
In the East, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The West is still really tough.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you so much. You guys think we should use Cam Scatterboom more? Absolutely. Love his energy and blocking. He's a shocky halfback. He kind of is a shocky halfback.
I mean, listen, I'm excited to see more of him. At the end of the day, I don't think he's going to do much if we can't block. but yeah, I'm excited to see more of him. And I just the run game in general, I think needs to be used a lot more this week. And they have to get more creative with the run. We all know that they're going to be limited with the way that this team is blocking, but you got to be more creative. I don't think they ran one pitch play. I don't think they never.
I don't feel like they ran outside the tackles.
I don't think they ran one pitch play. And obviously, with Russ in there, you're somewhat limited from the running game standpoint. You'll be more advanced when you have obviously Dart in there because you could use the RPO. You're not going to really use the RPO with Russ, who actually, ironically, was our leading rusher this past week. But
that's how bad the running game was.
So the running game will probably become more effective when Start's in there. But you got to get more creative with the run game this week, Bad Dog. Have to.
Yeah, you got to get creative everywhere, Chris.
Yeah.
Run game, passing game, defensive game plan. Everything needs to be more creative. They need to take risks. Because this team's not good enough to line up and win inside. They're not good enough to win at the point of attack.
Yeah.
So they have to take some chances. And I'm not talking about throwing passes to your backup tackle. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about throw the ball deep. Bring 6 guys. Bring 2 blitzers.
Yeah.
Play press coverage. These guys, your corners are press corners. Stop playing safe. Prevent defense from the opening snap. Let your pass rushers grab them. Put Abdul Carter out there. Put your best 4 guys out there. Find a way to get them on the field and go for the shit. Because if the Giants are going to win this game, like you said, Chris, probably not going to keep up with Dallas. So the defense might have to get a score.
They're going to
have to set us up for a score.
They're going to have to create turnovers to win this game for sure.
You got to take chances if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and play it basic and rush 4 guys and play soft zone. Dak will kill you. Dak will go for 380.
If we don't get pressure on Dak, he's going to tear us apart.
Oh,
yeah.
Big Blue Boss, Triple B. Thank you, brother. I just want to let you know how much I appreciate what y'all do. We appreciate that, man. Thank you. Seasons like this just make it hard to be a fan. 4 head coaches, 3 GMs since Coughlin. And listen,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
We appreciate fans like you because without fans like you, like I said, it makes it easier for us because it's hard for us to do these shows and hard for us to be fans too when we have to come on here and talk about how shitty they are for 17 weeks. It'd be nice if we were like at least got to December. We're like, well, we were in it and then we kind of fell off.
I hate to say it, Bad Dog, and we both said it towards the end of Eli's career, and it's looking more and more similar to as a Knicks fan growing up as a kid. I think a lot of people didn't appreciate Patrick Ewing as much as they should have as Knicks fans when I was growing up as a kid. And when he left, that team took a long time to recover.
Yeah.
And I think same thing with Eli Manning. I think he's a player that a lot of people, especially towards the end, didn't appreciate how valuable it was to have a guy like that you knew gave you a chance each and every Sunday at that position. And a lot of times it takes a long time to replace a player like that. And unfortunately, we're going through it. And hopefully Jackson Dart gets us, gives us some hope, but we also need to be able to block. Yep. Eli Manning had a great offensive line when he was successful with the Giants.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
At the end of his career, he didn't.
Yeah. No,
But people pointed at his freaking win-loss record. I'm like, why are you putting this all on Eli Manning? I mean, Eli Manning's a quarterback. Eli Manning doesn't block for Eli Manning. Eli Manning doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
So why is it Eli Manning's fault? Why is that a record important? That's a team record. That's not a quarterback record.
Yeah.
He has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. There's a handful of quarterbacks that have done that. And every one of them is in the Hall of Fame. Every quarterback that's won multiple Super Bowl MVPs is in the Hall of Fame. So the only quarterback that's actually won multiple Super Bowls that's not is Jim Plunkett. And Jim Plunkett was not a good quarterback. He had a really good run in 1980. He was great in the Raiders Super Bowl against the Eagles. He won the MVP. And in 83 was Marcus Allen. But Plunkett was terrible for most of his career until he became a Raider. He kind of resurrected his career, but he went nowhere with the Patriots. He was awful. He's not a Hall of Famer. Eli was top 10 in every major statistical category in passing when he retired. And he had 2 Super Bowl MVPs. The man's a Hall of Famer, and he played in a different era.
I don't even like debating it anymore. I just think it's a dumb debate. Like, I think it's so obvious that he's a Hall of Famer, but it is what it is. People are gonna debate it until he's in, but he's a clear Hall of Famer.
There is no, I talked about this with my wife earlier. I was just like, in today's day and age, it really is. It almost feels pointless to debate. I don't even call it debates. I call it having conversations, because honestly, I always feel like people are going to see what they want to see. They're going to hear what they want to hear, and they're going to think what they want to think. And it's almost impossible to change somebody's mind when they're dead set that I'm right, you're wrong, even though it's a matter of opinion. I mean,
how many Super Bowls do the Giants have if Eli Manning's not a Giant?
2.
He's a Hall of Famer. That's it.
I agree.
That's it. He's a Hall of Famer.
But you said the guys that don't want him in there will argue, he threw this many interceptions and he has a 500 winning record. Well, I mean, Joe Namath has a less than 500 winning record. And Joe Namath threw a lot more interceptions than he did touchdowns, and he's a Hall of Famer. Well, he played in the 60s. Well, Eli played in the early 2000s. It was different. Yeah. The game's changed in 20 years.
Yeah.
We talked about this before. His second year in the league, he threw 24 touchdown passes. That was tied for 4th. It's different. The game was different. Yeah. Troy Aikman's Hall of Famer. Troy Aikman threw for more than 20 touchdowns once in his entire career. And he threw 165 touchdown passes in his entire career. And he threw 141 interceptions. That is a terrible ratio. And he won 1 Super Bowl MVP. And nobody blinks an eye when they talk about him being a Hall of Famer. And Eli stepped up in the big game.
And Aikman had the greatest supporting cast, I think, in NFL history.
Exactly. So, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Big E, thank you, brother. He says, evening, guys. Road trip to Jerry's World tomorrow. Have fun.
Wow. Enjoy it, man.
For the love of God, please be competitive versus Dallas, so all I ask. Big E, you're going. They're going to win, man.
I'll tell you what, Big E. That stadium looks incredible. So as much as I hate the Dallas Cowboys, if there's a stadium I'd want to go to, that would be near the top of my list. So hopefully you enjoy it there. Hopefully you get some good barbecue. But most importantly, hopefully the Giants get a W.
That would be amazing. Yeah, enjoy Jerry's World, man.
Yeah.
Without question. That looks like Chris said, it's a nice place, unlike MetLife Stadium. But I'm going to make the trek down there this year anyway because I'm a Giants fan, and that's just what you do, man. I don't usually drink on Sundays because it's not my cheat day, but I think we're going to have to make an exception.
Oh,
I have to tailgate. I mean, I can't go down there and drink water. That shit ain't happening. So, but with that, guys and girls, we're going to get out of here. I don't want to keep you too long. It is Friday night. Always appreciate the support. We had well over 500 people in here most of the night, so really appreciate it.
Incredible.
Hopefully, we're glad to be back too, man. It's been a long time coming, this show. We'll do it on Chris's channel next week. And of course, Sunday, we'll be on Chris's channel about 12:30.
12:30.
1 o'clock game, right?
I think it's a 1 o'clock. I've tuned out the thinking about
the I think it's a 1 o'clock.
I think it's 1 o'clock.
Check really quick.
It is in Dallas. It could be at 4. I'm not sure.
Giants, Cowboys, 1 o'clock. So we'll be live at like 12:30. We'll have fun. We always do. Hopefully the Giants win. It'll be even more fun. Under the gun here, Giovanni, thank you so much. Malik Neighbors will have a field day. If we're gonna win, he has to.
He's our best player on offense. He might be our best player, period. I still think Dex is, but you want to talk about a guy who didn't step up last week. I mean, and I'm sure he was double teamed, but I don't think.
I also think his wife being pregnant.
Yeah.
I
don't think I called his name once.
He had 3 tackles.
Yeah.
Same thing. But I I'll give him a pass. He didn't play all preseason. And again, I think when you're
of course.
you're expecting child, you can definitely be distracted. That is way more important than football.
Of course.
So,
yeah.
I think this week he's got to, see his, I don't know if he had a son or a daughter, but he got to see his kid. He has a couple days. And now, I think you come out and you're going to be inspired to kick some ass. I think Dex will have a good game. I do. I think Dex will have a good game. And hopefully the rest of the Giants do too. I want to give a big shout out to Sleeper, of course, for sponsoring the channel. Make sure you guys check out Sleeper. Like I said, I've been using it, man. I have a lot of fun with it. It is a fun app to mess around with. And pretty much you just pick over/under on player stats. And there's a lot of other things you can do as well. Take advantage of the promotion. Make sure you click the link in the description. Enter that promo code BADDOG. You get a dollar for dollar match all the way up to $100 in your first deposit. So have fun with it. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun with it. I haven't won yet, but I will eventually. But I like it. It's cool.
You're contributing. You're contributing to the Giants fans are the dumbest people.
Correct. Well, like I said, Chris, we've been doing this show 8 years. I watch them every week. I gotta be an idiot. I say all the time, an idiot with a camera. So I'm freaking dumb. But I have fun. Sometimes
I'm just
ignorance is bliss, brother, right? Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. So with that said, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys Sunday afternoon for the Giants and the Cowboys. And maybe next week we're doing the show, Chris. We have a totally different show.
We're going to be 1-1. We're going to win 50-0 this week. Let's go.
All right. I love it. I'll take 5-0. I'll take 20-19. I just more than they have. That's all we do.
And by the way, I got to chime in. I love Eli. He's my favorite player of all time. I see AZ say Eli gets in the Hall of Fame solely because he's Peyton's brother. That is, without a doubt, the dumbest thing I've ever read on the internet. I don't know if it's the dumbest thing I've ever read on the internet. I've read a lot of dumb things. But if anything, Peyton is the reason why he's going to struggle to get into the Hall of Fame because people compare him to his brother. If his name was Eli Smith and he had 2 Super Bowl MVPs and he beat the undefeated Patriots, he probably would have been first ballot Hall of Famer. Yep. At least that's my opinion on the matter. But, yeah.
Agree. So, on that note, for the entertainment Talkin Sports, it's a bad day. It is. Enjoy your weekend. See you Sunday. And we out. Peace.